Welcome, Cancer. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do a message for you. I'm going to start with the wild unknown archetype, and for you, I pulled the Mother. This is quite appropriate, Cancer. I don't know if it's because my mother was a Cancer, or Cancer is a sign that is associated with home and hearth, family history, and thus it is representative, even in astrology, of the traditional maternal influence, whereas the 10th house is associated with the paternal or father's influence. So this is your house, your sign, your symbol, and has a lot to do with the eternal challenge of love, right? Our mother births us. She is our first heartbeat. However, the nurturance can become inhibition, the overprotection, the discouragement from wandering too far, from moving out into what is potentially a dangerous, volatile world. So this push and pull between the urge to care for and the urge to overprotect or protect is at odds, and is our first introduction really into the complexity of this bond, this loving bond, the bond of love, and why it can be so complex and contradictory. For the Crystal Spirit Oracle, you've pulled Moldavite. Moldavite is one of those crystals that occurred as a result of a meteor crashing into what we now think of as Eastern Europe. And this was over 14 million years ago. However, Moldavite absolutely represents transformation on a very large scale. And transformation, also inclusive of rebirth, death, letting go, is reinforcing the idea that you're stepping into a new experience of your life. You have officially released or surrendered the past in some really significant way. And we never completely release the past, right? Our memories, our family history, many of these things are things that inspire us, that support us. However, you have really released some challenging aspects of who you believed yourself to be and are fully prepared. You have crossed that threshold into a new experience of yourself. But this can feel very challenging. The kind of pressure that creates crystals is the kind of pressure that you may be feeling as an individual that is manifesting a significant and dramatic change in your life. So there's a way in which you may not feel renewed and revitalized in this exact moment, but are able to see that the motion of your life is moving you in an area of newness, new growth, and new acceptance of yourself, new terms on which you evaluate your experience, or in which you accept and are open to abundance in your life. But this can feel extremely uncomfortable. You can feel often quite anxious as you are aware that you have made changes within you that are having an impact not just on your world, but in the world, as you belong to other communities of individuals that are experiencing what you're experiencing. In the present, the Emperor. I decided I'm going to start with the past, and I just forgot, so I might as well turn them all over. In the past, you have the Death card, or the Rebirth, and in the future, you have the Three of Jades. So I'm going to read them past, present, future. This is really a repetition of the energy that is out here, right? Mothers give birth, and we experience our own rebirth throughout our lives, as many rebirths as we feel are necessary to find purpose, mission, meaning in our lives. And so this is indicating that you have been through something dynamic, something in many cases frightening, scary, releasing what you've known, no matter how challenging that may have been, is always a kind of pulling the rug out from underneath yourself, but trusting that there's something better. Something has replaced the old beliefs, the old expectations of who you are and what you're capable of. So this change represents quite some time, particularly for you. I'm thinking of Pluto's uh, completed transition through Capricorn that ended at the end of last year, but had been active for about 17 years. That's the opposite of your sign. So this is telling me that you and or your partner or significant others in your life have all gone through a dramatic rebirth of some sort or another. Not everyone has made it, has stayed on this side. There have been some significant passings in your life that have marked you and contributed to this experience of newness, of understanding and accepting the purpose of their presence in your life and the ways in which you learned and benefited from that. It's almost a coming to terms with how we choose members of our family, specifically to help us. Sometimes it's to partner on a mission or purpose. Often it is to help us keep striving for what has meaning and value in our lives. In the present, the Emperor is about the release of the things you can't control or change. And this is making me think of the serenity prayer of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? But you have instead really come into control of yourself, your own emotions, your own wisdom and knowledge about your experience, your very vast experience. This really often indicates having lived and been a leader in many areas of your life, having gathered a lot of wisdom from that. And leadership doesn't necessarily mean over a community or a team or an organization. It can mean leadership in your relationships, for an example. And that's what's coming to me as I recall Pluto's former position in Capricorn. Now that Pluto is in Aquarius and we are under the energy in this moment of the full moon in Aquarius, this does represent a kind of breaking free, kind of getting to the other side. And this has to do specifically with your relationships and the way you share energy and resources with others, those same significant others in your life. In the future, the Three of Jade shows you consciously agreeing to join with others who are peers, who are co-creators, who are equal, who have expertise, not necessarily in your specific area, but in areas that are aligned with what it is that you aspire to produce together. So this can mean quite routinely something like starting a new business or a new project of any sort. This can mean the way in which you now are operating more creatively and less hierarchically with a number of other creators, other um, uh, team members valued for the specific skills they contribute. This is about acknowledging that everyone has strengths, and when united in a common or aligned goal, that there is something powerful and beautiful that will be produced as a result of this collaboration. Sometimes this really talks about kind of public works or something that is obvious in your neighborhood or community. This can be creating bike paths in your neighborhood or improving on a neglected space that can become a community park. Those are things that just come to mind as any number of public projects or community projects, but it doesn't always have to be public in that sense. This can be building a business, producing products that are excellent, of high quality, and useful or resourceful to people. If this reading is resonating with you so far, Cancer, please like this reading and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I appreciate all of you for being here and supporting me in whatever way you do. So the death in the past is clarified by the Six of Water, the Six of Cups, and the Star card. The Emperor in the present is clarified by the Empress and the Four of Water, and the Three of Jades in the immediate future is clarified by the Two of Water and the Two of Earth. Wow, okay. So you're definitely balancing here. You are weighing out your opportunities or options, making decisions, creating a plan for yourself. In the past, the Death card, this rebirth is a renewal of some kind of a soul bond. And this really does seem to talk about not only a significant partner in your life, this can be a business partner. It quite ideally is a friendship that is business and professional in some way. So, as a spouse, can be your community or neighborhood partner, as well as your business partner is particularly salient. And this really talks about reviving the sense of excitement, awe, and wonder, joy and pleasure at exercising your gifts, creating something for others, contributing to a service that is specifically aimed at improving the conditions of others, certainly with clear awareness that this parallels your own efforts at self-development. But this is based on an experience you were exposed to as a young person. So perhaps your family did a lot of traveling when you were young for one reason or another. Perhaps you experienced other cultures in a way that was relatively unique for you, but that has been stored or contributed to your arsenal of creative resources, those experiences of joy expressed in a different way. And so you are kind of incorporating that memory into this vision of the betterment of humankind, even if that humankind is your immediate family or your neighbors on the block. And in the present, the Emperor is clarified by the Empress and the Four of Water, or the Four of Cups. The emphasis here is on a relationship of divine feminine and divine masculine that can take many forms, but the most essential form of that is within yourself. If you are truly balanced, or seeking balance, then you are likely to have relationships that reflect this balance in your life. This can be a spouse, a longtime partner, friendships, colleagues that you work with, others who feel comfortable and competent in their ability to be productive and to accept and receive recognition for their efforts. So that is very summarily stated, but the Four of Waters here shows something else. It shows that you have been tinkering with this balance in your life. And with the initial inclusion of the mother reading, and that the contribution of a divine feminine figure contributing to this transformation, a transformation that has been deeply revitalizing and renewing to you. It indicates to me that you're very aware of the way in which you've come to identify and align yourself with those things that support and value you, that you have learned to choose experiences that are supportive, that feel good, and that you understand that this is part of your not just material, your cultural or social foundation, but this is more like a way that you are challenging yourself. So even something that was relatively established, happy, unified for a while can be occasionally challenged by the appearance of a new opportunity, a new match, the reintroduction or reconnection with a new opportunity or an old opportunity and an old friend. And that gives you the chance to consider something that you once thought you wanted perhaps is or is not a match for you now. And that is a healthy consideration. That is a healthy way of being honest about your routines and your habits, your daily practices. I call them magical practices because I believe the conscious application of intentionality that aims to be supported, loved, and valued, and to reciprocate that to others is indeed a very consciously aware goal. It speaks of a higher vibration of love, and it looks like the way in which you are transforming your experience of love, the very complex and powerful but eternal aspect of love. Love keeps growing, and in order to grow, it has to overcome obstacles. And I see that this is something you allow into your life, and this feels as though it adheres to all kinds of relationships for you, particularly familial relationships, places where you shared a mother or a father or a parent, or some kind of experience of childhood together. So if you remember being exposed to a variety of cultures, it's likely that you and siblings experience that differently. And this may be a productive time for you to actually look at the way those things are different and how you can learn from one another or accept one another, including yourselves, with a little more generosity, a little more relaxed serendipity. And in the future, the Three of Jades is clarified two twos, the Two of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. So this is really beautiful because this is just reinforcing the renewal of your relationship to self, and what a positive deepening this relationship has come to be. Whatever origin story you've been telling yourself, you have amplified it. It feels as though you've neutralized any loaded experience of trauma or difference in that experience. You've accepted that whatever was done for you, to you, with you, was done from a motivation of love and caring. And as a result of that, your compassion for the experiences of your caregivers is greatly enhanced. And it's really is leading you forward in a way that helps you recognize the ongoing potential in your relationships. And this has nothing to do with your age. Particularly for those of us that are seniors, we're always wondering how there can be so much beautiful potential and wonder unleashed towards the last stages of our lives. But this is truly what you've been working towards in so many ways. How you can share based on your experience of love and protection. How can you see that in the world? And it goes back again to the way you work with others and the vision that you have for a better environment, a better world for everyone. Thank you so much, Cancer, for this reading. Until next time, namaste.